So, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why we have this discussion is actually coming from the short discussions in the WhatsApp group in the ICV Indonesia. So the discussion was very intense between Prof. Kameel and Pak Ugi. So uh, Dr. Zul, as a Exco International ICV, would like to suggest that what if we have a Zoom, so that many people are benefited, and then okay, I'm willing to be the chairman, for this one, and we should remember that the title is intellectual discourse. So this is not debate. Yeah, it's not like in Indonesia we just seen presidency candidates, debate and things like that. So we are far from it. Yeah. So we discuss our view about money. So I believe that these two speakers are very prominent in discussing about the money. But before I start, Alhamdulillah, Dr. Zul are already joining the Zoom. So I would like to invite Dr. Zul as the Exco for International ICV to give a short opening remark. Go ahead, Dr. Zul.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Radia, Prof. Ahmad Kameel, and Prof. Ugi. Yes, like what Prof. Radia say, we have discussion group of ECV for international. But for Indonesia, we have a special one. So with Muslim and brothers, we are very close actually. Yeah, we almost discuss everything. And suddenly this issue of riba come again. Actually, we have been discussing it before, but we would like to have a new look on it. Okay. So on behalf of ECP group, I'm also in charge of EXCO. I'd like to thank everyone. We have 81 here today.
Yeah.
Back to stay up to 1.5 hour session, inshallah. Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Prof.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Zul. So I would like to introduce our two prominent scholars. I have made a short biography. So first, Pak Ugi Soeharto biography. Yeah. So let me. Okay. So Dr. Ugi Soeharto is currently a director, Center for Excellence in Islamic Finance for SDGs, Faculty of Economics and Business, Indonesian International Islamic University. And at the same time, he's an adjunct professor at Raja Zaid Sofia, RSZ Center for Advanced Study on Islam, Science and Civilization, UTM. He got a PhD degree from ISTEC, Malaysia, master and bachelor from IUM. And he has currently 3 books. So when I look at his publications, the closest publications with our discussion is this: Riba, Interest in Islamic Finance, Semantic and Terminology Issue. And this is published in the Middle Eastern, International Islamic Middle Eastern, in which Prof. Kabir Hassan is the managing editor. So if you look at the purpose, is very interesting. He says that the paper is to argue analytically that interest and riba are not exactly the same and not an interchangeably terminology. So this is the closest publications towards our topic for discussions tonight. But we are not going to discuss about his paper, but at least this paper has some similarity with in the context of money. Yeah. And second, Prof. Dato, Dr. Ahmad Kameel Meera, is currently a Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and Student Affairs at the University Sultan Azlan Shah, Kuala Kangsar, Perak, Malaysia. And he obtained the magna cum laude PhD degree finance from University of North Texas, Denton, Texas, USA, 96. He's graduate and master from IUM. And when I look at the publication, the closest publications with our topic is this one, Fiat Money, yeah, and from the current Islamic finance. Actually, he has many about the fiat money, rates, and things like that, but I just got this one. And the very interesting is, if you look at the purpose of this paper, is this one, yeah. So this paper aimed to discuss the opinion of the current Sharia scholar in the concept of debt money, yeah. The method is by distributing a questionnaire, and the very interesting is the finding, yeah. Most Sharia scholars are unaware of and confused about mechanics underpinning the creation of money. Prof. Kameel, I know you're laughing. Maybe you can clarify later on. Especially with respect of fractional reserve banking as it is practiced by conventional and Islamic banking systems. It's very interesting that the FRB, fractional reserve banking, is also applied in the Islamic banking. So the originality, what is the suggestions? Based on this research, it is recommended that these scholars should improve their understanding of the operation of fiat money system and its consequence. So I think this one will be later on elaborated by Prof. Kameel. So the format of our talk tonight is like this. The first part, we're going to divide three parts. So as has been mentioned by Dr. Zul, we're going to take like 1 hour and a half. So the first part each presenter will have a 20 minutes presentation. So totally is 40 minutes. And after that, the second part, each presenter make a response on the other presenter. Yeah. Sorry, this is 10 minutes, so total 20 minutes. Yeah. And then the third part is Q&A from participant. It will take 30 minutes. So total is 1.5. Yeah. For those of you, the participants who would like to raise questions, please do so in the chat box. I will then pick a few questions that is interesting, and we will discuss from the one which I selected. Yeah. So without further ado, I think I would like to invite Prof. Kameel first to share your opinion based on your background, your research, your writing on our current topic, money in Islam, and you will have 20 minutes. So please, Prof. Kameel.
Thank you very much, Prof. Raditya. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Salatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursaleen wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Prof. Raditya and Pak Ugi and my dearest participants and everyone, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm very, basically excited about this kind of because during my time, when I used to teach these courses, I always like to give my students my view and also views that are opposing my view. Why? Views that oppose our view, then that will make the students to think. So you want to create thinkers. That's why I like that. Okay, I'm going to put forward the why fiat money cannot be, money in Islam, and then Pauji will talk about why it can. So later we can go back and think about whatever we are going to say in these presentations. So only 20 minutes given, so I'll go share this thing. Yeah, can I share my file?
Yeah, Prof, please.
Yeah, go ahead, Prof.
Okay, hold on. Oh God. It doesn't allow me to share.
Is it, what is the problem, Prof?
I'm trying to share, but then it is Microsoft PowerPoint, but it says unknown, then open system preferences.
Or you may send your PowerPoint to me and I will share.
Okay. Okay. That will take a little bit of 5 minutes. Is it okay?
Okay, Prof. Maybe or is it okay if I move to Paugi first or how?
No, I will forward to you. You
Oh,
share
okay.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Just okay. While waiting for the Prof. Kameel send PowerPoint to me, maybe I just want to say something why it is important to have to
I've
know
already sent
about
you. I've sent you
your email
already. Email.
email to my email or
Gmail,
to
Gmail.
my Gmail, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on.
Sorry, participants, there's some problem here that, it doesn't allow me to share the thing.
You sent to my email, Prof?
Yeah, it's correct. Is it there in
It
the
doesn't come out.
Gmail?
Oh, it is Gmail.
Gmail, yeah.
Hang on. Oh, okay. Okay, I got it. Just hang on.
All right.
Oh, yeah, you may start, Prof. I will open the
Okay.
PowerPoint.
All right. So let me continue. Yeah, hold on. Okay. So let me continue. So let me start with the conclusion of my presentation. The next slide number 1. You can see in the conclusion, under fiat money system, the maqasid al-sharia cannot be attained. These are the thesis that I wrote more than about 20 years ago, with even including some of our brother here, Dr. Zuljastri also was involved. Yeah. So the maqasid sharia cannot be attained, particularly the protection of property, and it causes numerous social, economic, environmental, and political problems. And therefore, because it is not only we're talking about riba, this thing, there's many other effects on the society, economics, environment, and political. And basically, one of the main causes for the society, the economics and environment to become unsustainable. So I'm putting the conclusion first before I go to how did I get into this issue, money? If you go to the next slide, we know when I was looking into this, we know dinar and dirham were the historical monetary standards in Islamic transactions, which we inherited from the Prophet ﷺ. When the Prophet ﷺ passed away, the dominant money in Islam, the Sharia principles were all using dinar and dirham at the time. So that's what we inherited, yeah? So the dinar and dirham were actually, at the time, were the Roman denarius and the Persian drachma, which the Prophet ﷺ accepted as the standard. In that is some wisdom. We need to think why the Prophet ﷺ accepted the money of Romans and the money of the Persians as the standard. Yeah. Then the Muslim world went off the standard after being colonized. So we were having this system in one way or another until we lost it in when the Caliph of Ottomania collapsed. Yeah. Now, if you see in the what do you call that? If you see in history, then and in fact the whole world also was based on some monetary system or some kind of link to gold and silver. So we had the gold standard until the World War II. So after World War II, the Americans established what we call the Bretton Woods system, where only the US dollar was linked to gold. The rest of the world currencies were not linked to gold. But in 1971, even that was ended because they could not finance the Vietnam War. They could not back the US dollar with gold. Yeah. So the Bretton Woods system collapsed. So since 1971, the entire world has been working on fiat money. Fiat money means what? It is the paper money or electronic money that is not backed by gold or anything that is real. That is the meaning of fiat money. Money that is not backed by anything that's real. Yeah. So if you go to the next slide. So my research and passion for this topic for dinar and dirham began following the 1997 East Asian economic crisis. So some of us who are old enough, you remember in 1997, currency speculators hit the Malaysian ringgit, they hit the Indonesian rupiah, they hit Korean won, the Thai baht, all were attacked by these currency speculators, and all these countries lost billions of dollars of national wealth was lost. Yeah, can you? Yeah, this one, this one, the East Asian economic crisis. Then it became obvious when I looked at this thing, how did the currency speculators made so much of speculative profit, and there's another one called arbitrage profit. It became obvious to me that the fiat nature of money made it all possible. Because money was fiat, it's created out of nothing, and then it can be, traded in the forex market where its value is all the time moving up and down like that. That made possible the speculators to attack the currencies. If we had a gold standard where currencies were backed by gold, then the currency speculators cannot hit the currencies. They could not make billions of profit. They cannot devastate our economy. They cannot make arbitrage profit if money was linked to gold. So when I started to realize this, then I went on further. Next slide. Next slide, please. Prof. Raditya, can you please go to the next slide? Okay, let me go on. So that is the
Which one, Prof?
The next slide, yeah. Okay, just now, yeah. Okay, the next slide. Then gold will, and at that time, 1997, 98 time, in 97, 98 time, Nobel laureate Robert Alexander Mandel, he's a Nobel laureate, and he's also known as the father of Euro. Before that Raditya before, yeah. Okay, I think after, sorry, go down further, yeah. So Robert Mandel mentioned the gold will come back as the monetary unit in this century. He himself, a Nobel laureate who is known as the father of Euro, saying that, all right? See, when I don't control the slides, it's a bit difficult, yeah? So now, page 12. Can you go a bit earlier, Prof. Aditya? Yeah. Earlier than this. Slide number.
Let me download first.
Because it's because I'm speaking different, it's showing different thing, yeah.
Sorry, Prof.
Yeah. So Robert Alexander Mandel was he mentioned that. And at that time, even our Prime Minister at that time, Tun Mahathir Mohamad, he also mentioned that we need to settle our international trade balances in gold. You see? So everyone were realizing the problem that the removal of the link to gold was creating so much of problem. It created many economics and financial crises, hundreds of them, within the last, and we were facing it at that moment in this part of the world. So we realized we need to go back to gold. But then because we are not strong enough in the world, that means military-wise and so on, we got pressure from outside that we cannot go for gold, right? We should not go for gold. So then, next slide, please. So then, next slide, please. Yeah. Then it made me understand, after looking at this, why inflation seems to be always there. Everyone thinks inflation is part of life, nowadays. Why the cost of living is always rising, Then why central banks keep gold as a reserve asset? If no one wants to, link money to gold and so on, why central banks want to keep gold as a reserve asset, right? Why the US threatens with military anyone who threatens the position of the petrodollar? Why IMF member nations are prohibited to settle their trade balances in gold? All these become, there were questions and I was getting all these answers. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. right? So all this, were linked to what I'm my thesis, why it is necessary to link to money to gold. Next slide, please. Now, okay. Then you see the current times, in current times. No, please, that slide, yes. That slide.
This one,
no,
Prof.
The one put in, yeah. Okay. You see, for example, this one, why when slapped with economics, imposed economic sanctions on Russia, Putin retaliated by linking the Russian currency, which is called ruble, to gold. He made 5,000 ruble equals to 1 gram of gold. Why? That will become clearer to you also why, Then why in the Oslo Peace Treaty, in the Oslo Peace Accord between the Israelis and the Palestinians were required to accept the Israeli shekel as a legal tender. Why? Why was money linked to gold and silver for most of human history? These things become clearer to us, when we realize what the nature of fiat money, what actually it does, then you'll realize why these things are taking place. Next slide, please, page 10. Okay. Then also, the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, which many people have never understood. I never understood before. It became clearer when like here, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri reported Allah Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is saying, gold is to be paid for gold, silver by silver, wheat by wheat, barley by barley, dates by dates, salt by salt, like for like. I like the word like for like. Means what? These are commodities mentioned by Prophet ﷺ. There is other like for like. Payment being made on the spot. If anyone gives more or asks more, he has dealt in riba. The receiver and giver are equally guilty. Now, when we go back to the theory of money, what we can use as a measure of value, what we can use as money, they have characteristics. It must be acceptable by people. It has intrinsic value. It has divisible. It's durable. It's homogeneity. It is, it's rare and things like that, right? All these commodities mentioned fulfill the criteria for money, which means we can use all these and other things also, like for like, remember, and other things also, which has the characteristics of money. We can use them as measure of value. So remember this word. Money is a measure of value. It must be a standard measure of value because we are going to exchange things among us in a fair manner. You can use any of them, but gold and silver naturally will dominate because these are metals. They last long. They cannot easily get rusted or destroyed. So they seem to dominate. But all others, I can also use wheat as money. I can also use barley as money. No problem. Okay. So next slide, please. What is the reason we need to in the next slide? The issue with fiat money is the term Sinoraj. What is Sinoraj? We have this thing. Sinoraj is, it is when fiat money is a paper money or electronic money, we give it value, but human labor that goes into it or the actual value is much, much less than the value we give. For example, if you take Malaysian ringgit, let's say 50 ringgit, or the Indonesian rupiah, let's say 1 million rupiah, for example, the cost of creating the 1 million rupiah or 50 ringgit is very, very small, maybe a few cents only. But the paper has so much of value. Because the paper has so much of value, you and me cannot print it at home. It is illegal to print at home. But someone is printing. So we all think money is printed by the central bank of the country. Okay, yes, the paper and coin, yes. But if you go and look at the statistics, only 5% or less is actually the paper notes and coins. Majority, more than 95% of money that is circulating in the economy is actually created by the commercial banks in the form of loans. That Most people, they don't understand this. Most of the money that we are actually using as ringgit or rupiah, they begin their life in the form of loan when commercial banks create them out of nothing and give to people in the form of loan carrying interest, or in the Islamic finance or Sharia banking, they create the money out of nothing, they buy asset, and then they sell to you on profit or other Islamically acceptable contracts. You see that? The creation of the money to buy the asset is created out of nothing. Next line. So these are the major forms of money. Notes and coins, which are only about 5%, issued by the central bank. But the money created by the commercial banks in the form of loans, they are the demand deposits. But there are also other definitions of money, time deposits, and other forms of money, like, we can use even shares of companies also can be used as money. If I buy a home from you, I pay you in terms of shares. Then at that moment, I'm using it also as money, right? So there are higher definitions of money. They'll become less and less liquid. But the most majority of money in transaction is the notes and coins plus demand deposits, number 1 and number 2. So in central bank monetary definitions, notes and coins are M0 plus the demand deposits, we call M1. And M2, it adds other definition like time deposits and so forth. Okay, next slide. So when money is created out of nothing, this happens in the form of loan. Most of it, 95% or more, is in the form of loan. So when you look at the statistics of any country, you will find amount of money is growing exponentially, and the amount of debt or hutang in the country also grows exponentially. Hutang consists of what? Individuals, households, when we buy home, cars, everything. There's also business loan. There's also government loan. All of them will continue to rise in this structure where money is created out of nothing and given to people in the form of loans. Okay, this is the major flaw.
We have like 7 minutes.
Okay.
7.
Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah. I have another 7 minutes. Yeah. Okay. So this is again, this is a statement by another Nobel laureate in monetary, Milton Friedman. Nobel laureate Milton Friedman also says inflation is always and everywhere a monetary phenomenon, in the sense that it is and can be produced only by a more rapid increase in the quantity of money than in output, that means in the quantity of the real economy. So which means he's saying the system creates more money than our ability to create real things. So there's inflation. Now we know why there's always inflation in our system, because the banking system is creating money much more faster than our ability to work and create real things. And they're giving that out in the form of loans. Okay, next slide, please. Next slide, please. So this is just a Malaysian data. Our own central banks reporting Malaysia's household debt to GDP ratio surges to a new peak of 93%. You see, when they are the ones having the monetary system in their hands and they report like this. Next slide, please. And also, if you look at the government loans, the household debts, business loans, government loans would be ever rising in the system. So if you are an accounting student, then you will be scratching your head. You say, look, if your household debts are rising, business loans are rising, government loans are rising, who are the creditors in the system? For every debtor, there must be a creditor. Then you realize it's the banking system, because we have given them the right to create money out of nothing and give to us in the form of loan. So the banking system is the creditor in the system. Next line. Next. And for us, why I show one of the when you talk about rising inflation, of course, rising inflation, price of food and everything, and one of the most important things is the rising of unaffordable housing will take place. In Malaysia, the next statistics you can see, 7 years or almost 8 years ago, this statistics was reported in 8 years ago. It's already seriously unaffordable, Malaysia. Homes are seriously unaffordable. Now it is severely unaffordable. In Indonesia, you will find only the wealthy people who are creating the money like this, they will be owning homes. Most of the people, you can only rent homes. You compare the past history, people will, when they need a house, they have money, they will ask some builders to construct the house. You own the house, you live nicely. Today, it's not like that. It is simply money is created out of nothing by the banks, and they give to the developers, they build a house, and then all of us will be paying higher and higher prices until we are not able to even afford anything. This is what is happening in today's system. Next, go ahead, please. Okay, you see, if you look at the socio-economic and environmental effects of money, why the thing is missing, There's something, there's a whole area here.
Yeah, I need to download first, Prof, because I have a problem with the download. Should
Okay,
be
never mind.
downloaded first.
Okay, it's okay. So in this slide, there is social problems, there's economic problems, the environmental problems, and many problems have been identified. And for all those, there are actually research works behind. For some reason, that table is not appearing here. Social problems, economic problems. And one of them I like to highlight to you is the shrinking population, because nobody seems to know why the populations of the many countries are shrinking. I'll explain that in a moment. So next slide, please. Dr. Aditya, tell me if I have another 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
Okay. Okay. So one of the things, because the system is creating money, and then the money created out of nothing is generally given to the rich people, That means the bank created money out of nothing. To whom it will give? Normally, it will give to the rich people, because only the rich people look credit worthy. If you are a poor person, you go to the bank, they will just tell you, sorry, we cannot give you the money. So in this kind of system, what it happens is that it creates the rich people become richer, and the poor people become poorer. And the inflation that is created in the system is borne by everybody. The rich people also face inflation. The poor people also face inflation. So the system will make things difficult for the poor people. You see that? Continuously, they will find life is more and more difficult. You see in this statistics, only 8 billionaires own the same wealth as the 50% of the rest of the world. 3.6 billion people. Wealth is same as the 8 people's wealth. Yeah. Huh? So, and then you'll find. So it's time over already, is it?
Yeah, you may conclude, Prof.
Okay. So you can see, because of the system is like this, you will find economic unsustainability, social unsustainability, and environmental unsustainability coming. Many years ago, we mentioned that this monetary system will create a lot of things become unsustainable. So sure enough, the world is now talking about sustainable development goals. So there are 17 sustainable development goals. But what people are not asking is that who or why all these areas have become unsustainable? Why did these areas become unsustainable in the first place? So a monetarist by Bernard Leiter, a famous monetarist, he was a banker, central banker from Belgium. He did research and finally he said, money is the missing link to sustainability. He was the central bank of Belgium. Money is the missing link to sustainability. So if we don't solve this linking, if we go on with the fiat money, I can assure you we will become, the whole world will become unsustainable. We are not going to solve any of these sustainable problems. The problem will only get worse and worse. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. So this problem became even more apparent in 2008 during the subprime crisis in America. Alan Greenspan, who was the chairman of the Federal Reserve for almost 30 years, I think. He was the chairman of the Federal Reserve, which is the central bank for US. He made this statement. I have been going on for 40 years with considerable evidence that it was working very well. The monetary system was working very well. The whole intellectual edifice, however, collapsed in the summer of last year. So basically, he was telling, look, the central banking system does not work. So that's the reason. In the next slide, when 2003, when we realized this problem, and Tun Mahathir was talking about returning back to gold, we did this conference, Gold in International Trade. together with the Central Bank of Malaysia. This conference was funded by our Central Bank of Malaysia. We did gold in Central Bank, and even one of the deputy governors presented a paper how we can actually settle these international trade balances in gold. And Tun Mahathir said, settle trade balances in gold through bilateral and multilateral arrangements. But however, Malaysia was not able to proceed with this because of pressures from international pressures. You know from whom the international pressure came from, right? I'm sure you know.
Yes.
So I'll stop here so that
Okay.
we'll
Yes.
time for Prof. Ugi to give his need, then we will continue from. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Prof. Kameel. So I want to just highlight what has been presented by Prof. Kameel is that the creation of money by the banking is too much, and then the difference with the real economy is too big. That is the causes of the problem, that is the inflation and so on.